Live.
Hey, ghouls.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome to Girls, Gore, and Jen on another Thursday fucking night.
Thursday evening. It's a full moon tonight.
It is the last one of the century, isn't it? Or decade, or whatever. Decade.
Of the decade.
Decade.
Yeah. It's bright as shit up there.
Yeah, it is. It's big. That's what she said.
I have not heard that. So
I'm sure you have.
We can see.
Mine hasn't come up
I
yet.
can see the laptop.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
I
my
didn't even
gosh,
notice that.
Miguel. What are you doing?
What are you talking about? I don't see any laptop. Slowly disappearing.
Fucking
Hey, as long as it's not showing your screen or whatever, then I
Right.
guess it doesn't matter.
It's like, you guys see what we're
Actually, that'd be incredible. Little inception of video.
I know.
Ooh.
Your reception.
But CW Panay, checking in. How you doing?
Is it
ACW.
Panay or Penny?
Penny.
Panay.
Panay.
Penay.
P-E-N-N-E-Y.
Get it right.
Panay.
Like the pasta?
Yes. I think exactly what.
Sorry, I'm fucking hungry, so I'm like, pasta.
Mamma mia. So tonight we are talking about wrongly convicted people and, fucked up shit. So,
Pretty much, we always talk about people that actually committed crimes, but in this case, no, not in these cases. They didn't do shit, and they were arrested and thrown in prison, some of them for quite a long time.
yeah, and then can you imagine there are some people who are still in prison to this day who've been wrongly convicted, and there's no way they'll ever get out.
Well, even with DNA, who even knows?
Yeah.
It blows my mind. Like, even in Bakersfield alone, I don't know if you guys went over this one. The Satanic Panic people who got caught here in town through that.
Lords of Bakersfield?
No. It was one that there was no. They didn't do it. I think the Lords of
Okay.
Bakersfield. I think they did something, like for sure.
For sure.
But these guys, yeah, they were just parents. Got caught up in this countrywide phenomenon, and collectively they lost like 100 years of freedom. Like it was, I want to say 18 parents or something like that.
Whoa.
And some of them, a couple months, some of them a decade. And the
Wow.
last one went free in 07, I guess, something like that.
Wow. Okay.
But it is absolutely a case that deserves its own episode, but it's way too big. That's all I can really explain right now.
Right.
It's a lot.
It'd be kind of how when we did the Mothers of Darkness and Pizzagate, how there's so many different, like it's just so big.
Yeah, it's like a web.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Well, do we have any would you rather?
This one's fucking difficult. I couldn't even answer this one.
Oh shit! I love a challenge.
Would you rather live without your significant other or without your bestest, closest friend?
Oh no, because my significant other is my bestest friend.
That's-
So.
I have a best friend, and then I also have my peanut. So I don't know. I mean, I love them both. I've known one way longer than the other one.
Bye, Felicia.
But
my friend has a penis. So.
Okay, that's fair. I think I've got the answer now.
And he can reach some things that I can't. So, even though he's not that much taller than
Damn
me.
it. And I hate using the ladder.
I know, it's such a
It's
pain
like
in the
that
ass.
for me and Peanut. It's like the dwarf among midgets joke from Family Guy. The taller dwarf can reach stuff on the shelves that like the smaller people can't reach.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Can you reach it? Yes, I can. That's him and me.
Aw. Shit. What about you, Miguel?
Oof. Well, since I'm alone, makes it very easy.
Right back. I'm still here.
That imaginary bitch can die,
Imaginary bitch.
You don't like Pamela Henderson? Is she not being nice to you anymore?
Jennifer Lopez, no, she was fine.
Hannah Lopez. Who is that, Chola?
Chola.
What about Rosie and her 5 sisters?
Well,
You know Rosie Palmer.
No. I guess it's easy for me because I can just pick bestest friend. Boom, done.
You've got so many options at your disposal.
Well, if they all die, then you're gonna see a very sad Miguel who has nubs for hands. So
This is a little overdrive there.
Oh yeah, but I don't know. I couldn't decide. It was a difficult one.
No, that's definitely a hard one. Yeah, for all those people out there and they're committed, especially with holidays coming up.
Oh no.
Um,
Okay, wait. Which one would you rather have to buy gifts for?
ooh, that's a harder question right there.
So,
Oh, can't you just be dead, please? Oh,
Nah.
I don't
my
have-
bank account says one of you lives.
Dun dun dun.
Charles says it's got to be both for me. So no. So anyway.
Oh, no significant other.
Oh.
Anyways, okay, yeah. Hi, I see you. Yes.
Charles, hope you're doing well, by the way.
Yeah, I heard you got sick.
What do you call it? Yeah, people got stuff getting sick. I'm tired of getting sick.
Hey. Oh my god, my dog.
Oh.
Hello.
So you talk about significant others and best friends and dogs.
There you
Right.
go.
Like, hey, I'm your best
I
friend.
think he wants me to feed him, but they've already eaten. So I don't know.
Doggies want to eat all the time. They're garbage disposals.
Hey.
Oh, of course. Bill checks in, says, "What's up, GGG?
What's up, Bill?
Triple G in the house." I think we need to do like a
Lily.
tag writing, Triple G on the shirt.
Yeah, like the old English lettering.
Yeah, be
Triple
badass.
G's on our.
That'll be my tattoo because you guys already got cool ones.
Oh my god. It was pretty sweet.
We're ready for a little bit of strangeness.
What's strange in that?
Yeah, because you know I like to get strange in this bitch.
The strangest.
In 2009, Iceland had a McDonald's, and I guess they were kind of going through like an economical little crisis over there. And McDonald's decided, since it was so expensive to import the ingredients, they were just going to take out McDonald's from Iceland. Well, one guy ended up going and buying the last burger and fry from McDonald's and was like, I'm going to do an experiment with it because I heard these things never rot.
Okay.
Which, I'm sorry, those fuckers don't. If you've ever, like, tried to eat french fries while you're driving and you drop one in the seat and then, like, 2 weeks later you go to the car wash.
It's still the same color.
It's just hard as a rock.
Yeah.
It's not molded. It's just petrified. And so he put it in a bag and he stuck it in his garage. And then, you know, like most people, we forget about shit we're doing because we're so caught up doing other things. And about 3 years later, he was going to move to Denmark. And he found it in the garage and was like, oh, shit, I forgot about this.
Oh my god.
He said the mice in his garage had gone through boxes, tore up all kinds of things, but never touched the bag. Weird.
Mice don't even want that fucking
Yeah,
shit.
exactly. And since he was moving from Iceland to Denmark and was like, well, this is kind of like a historical thing. It's the last McDonald's burgers and fries that was here in Iceland.
Yeah.
So he contacted a museum there, a historical museum in Iceland, and he donated it to him. And they put it on display
That's cool.
as it was. And they got to keep it for a few years. And then they were told that they weren't allowed to preserve food in the museum.
What?
It's already doing a good enough job by itself, I think, but you know, whatever. So they called him back and they're like, hey, you want to come from Denmark and pick up your food? And he was like, okay, cool. So he went and he got it back. And I don't know if he owns a hostel and he's running one or if it's just going around to different hostels, but it's like being watched 24/7 on like a live stream cam
So weird.
to watch the time lapse of it, like as it goes, like you just checking on the burger today. But it's still on display. It still looks new, except for the box looks like, you know, worn and everything.
So
But
disgusting.
yeah,
Had anyone tried to nibble it? Just like, well, let's see, let's find out.
the mice didn't even want to. But can you imagine that's the food you put in your body? Like, it doesn't rot.
Yeah. How is it supposed to decompose or like break down in your body? Like that's disgusting. Oh my
Yep.
God.
There's like so much weird shit in all of our food. Like, yeah. When I went to culinary school, we had a theory teacher or a lecture teacher, and she would always make us watch these videos on like Monsanto's and the actual chemicals that are like in our food. Like our cereal has a petroleum preservative in it and
Delicious.
all kinds of shit. BTH or BHT or something like that. It's on the cereal boxes, but it's a preservative
Well,
that they use in like tires and embalming fluid and shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
Not so great. Not so
Yeah.
great.
Fucking love Lucky Charms though. I'm not gonna lie. I love Lucky Charms.
That's the problem though. Once you get down to the chemical basis of everything, you mix certain things and then it becomes something else. It's like you eat something and then you mix it with something else, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, that's rubber. It's like, but I didn't eat rubber. I swear to God.
How do we know? Times are getting tough for you over there, mate.
Yeah.
I had more shoes beginning of this week, right? Charles says, I love their hash browns. Admittedly, it's cheaper to get them at Walmart or somewhere and cook it instead. I love their hash browns. I don't care if it never goes bad ever.
I will
That just means I
say
eat it later.
that I was a huge fan of McDonald's back when I was on drugs. That should tell you something. My early 20s, all I ate every day was like a not a double cheeseburger. Yeah, double cheeseburger, because they were like on sale, or like during that time they were like super cheap. Like double cheeseburger, fries, and like a thing of nuggets, and that's all I would eat. And then I ended up having to go to the hospital because it wasn't coming out.
Oh, wow.
It was just storing up in my intestines.
Yeah, see, that shit's not good for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
jeez.
yeah.
I think I have McDonald's like maybe once every couple months. Like, and it's usually randomly, like we're just driving somewhere and we're hungry, but it's still going to be a few hours before we get home. It's like, let's just stop while we're in the car and just get like something small and just keep going. But the only thing I actually really like from there, besides their just plain cheeseburgers, are their breakfast McGriddle things, where it's the pancake. It's like the pancake
I
I
bun.
love breakfast.
Oh, I love
just love
pancakes.
breakfast in general, so yeah.
Pancakes are my favorite.
I like
Um,
breakfast.
My friend Fabi works there, so she gives me a discount, so I don't care. I'm just gonna let it kill me. And talking about the double cheeseburger, it was actually voted the most calories you can get for the money ever in history.
No shit.
Yeah.
God.
I
Wow.
remember seeing that. Like we went from
No fucking wonder.
yeah,
But it costs like $3 for a bag of fucking salad. Go figure.
makes no sense. Yeah, their salads are disgusting, and they charge more. So,
No, I'm saying just even from the store, like a bag of
In
salad.
general, yeah, like a thing of mixed.
It's like
salad.
$2-3 a bag.
A bag of E. coli.
Yeah, or listeria. Ew. Oh,
man. So Gary Hoy, a lawyer in Toronto, was at a reception for new articling students. I guess it was like just some sort of like event for like new students and stuff
Mhm.
for I guess the school that he had gone to. This guy's apparently super smart, like super intelligent, super book smart. Obviously a lawyer. He did some other like philanthropy work and things like that too. So he was trying to prove that the windows were structurally sound and
Lord.
unbreakable, and he had thrown himself like up against the window like a couple of times trying to impress some people and, you know, get them laughing, show them like, oh, see, look, I've done this all day. The last window was not so indestructible because he ended up throwing himself through the window and landing 24 stories into the courtyard. So he did not make it.
Damn.
All that book learning did nothing for his fucking common sense.
Ooh.
imagine if Elon Musk would have done that with that unbreakable glass or his Cybertruck.
Oh,
Throw
Lord.
himself through it. Look at this guy.
I know, that was so funny. For those of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, or what Miggs is talking about, the new Tesla truck that they made, they were like throwing shit at the windows like, oh, look, it's not going to break, and then it shatters.
That's the one that looks like something from Mad Max, doesn't it? Like a polished up Mad Max.
Yeah, like Batman's, like, then Dark Knight's, like, truck. That's kinda
if
what
he
it
needed
looked
a,
like.
He needed a truck.
Yeah, if you needed a truck, like a pickup.
I'm Batman at Home Depot.
Add an addition to the Batcave.
I need 2x4s.
Well, I gotta build a bat shitter. But everyone makes fun of that truck, but they did $1 billion in pre-sale off that one video of him breaking his own windows.
Sucks for them.
Ridiculous.
Well, pre-sales, though, damn, like,
Sure.
how much does it cost, though? Do you remember?
I don't. And I remember you can put one on reserve for as little as I think $100.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, if you really want a semi-ugly truck that might not do everything they say it can, because obviously they couldn't prove it. Just give them $100.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
I agree with Richard here. The
It
Tesla
does.
truck looks like something from a video game.
Pretty much, like, unrealistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I I don't know. It looks like they took like a cube and like deconstructed it, and like
It's
threw
contemporary
all, like,
art.
this weird panel. I don't know. Just ugly.
It's amazing.
In my opinion.
Jeez. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
I know everyone's keeping up with this. Bill does say, instead of eating McDonald's, just drink gin. Probably healthier for you at some point.
Fuck.
Yeah. Less calories, probably.
Yeah, less. I think mice will go after gin before they go after McDonald's. I should test that out one day.
Oh my God. I have rats in my attic. Maybe. Who knows?
Go buy a cheeseburger. Now. Someone grab some gin.
Yeah, a bowl of gin and a cheeseburger on a plate.
Leave
Put
it
a
up
camera.
I'm gonna sneak on camera, take a bite of each, or a bite and a drink, just to freak everybody out.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, watch. They only eat the McDonald's after they drink all the gin.
Just like a true American.
Right? America. Ew.
I love the table today. Thank you.
Yeah, it looks awesome. It really does. You guys did an awesome job.
And she did it. I just showed up and it was done. I'm like, okay, cool.
I did it last night before I left today because I knew I wouldn't be home
Oh,
in
okay.
time.
It looks bad ass.
We literally sat down and like started when we got here.
Yeah. It's been a long couple of days.
You know,
Ugh.
So before we get too far into the topic, because I know it's going to be some sad stuff to hear.
no, I know.
Yeah, it's okay. Just
Is there any happy endings before? Like, does anybody actually get out? Hopefully.
only if you pay for it.
He wants to know about the convicted people.
Oh, well, actually, one of mine, yeah, it's the happy ending. The other one is more of one I want everybody to kind of talk about collectively and get their opinions on it.
Okay.
But that will be later. So,
I like that.
Alright.
And you guys make sure to share the video so we have more
Please
people talking about it.
share.
yes.
Share,
Heck out
share,
of it.
share.
I'm still in jail until January.
You're
30th.
still in Facebook too?
Oh shit! No wonder. Okay, I was wondering
Yeah.
why we haven't been getting as many views.
3 months I've been in jail.
What?
Yeah, I got a 3-month ban.
Should we host a
Oh,
watch party?
My God. Oh my God.
So it's rough. It's rough in there. I'm getting tattoos. Got a prison Zuckerberg. It's terrible. It's terrible in there.
Zucker Vida on your chest.
Don't cry for me.
Book life.
Um,
Jeez.
So who wants to go first? Who we got? Who we got?
Well, she's busy. You want me to just go for it?
I was just trying to see if there's any more groups I could share to.
Yeah, okay.
No, sorry, I should have done this before we
Nah.
started, but
Do you?
sometimes I'm like hesitant on which groups to share to because sometimes they get pissed off.
They have rules.
Yeah,
Like, how am I
there's
supposed to
rules,
remember
like-
everybody's fucking rules?
Yeah, I know. There's so many fucking rules on these groups. Like, you're only allowed to share on Monday between 2 and 4.
Yes.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, there are. It's stupid.
Oh, sorry. 1, 2, and 4. If you have your shoes tied right now.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, the first guy I got name is Clarence Elkins from Ohio. I want to say it was 99, early 2000s. He was convicted of the murder of his mother-in-law, Judy Johnson. She was beaten and raped. She was beaten so bad that her jawbone, her nose, and her collarbone were all fractured.
Fucking Fight Club in it.
Yeah, and then I think he stabbed her to death, like on top of that.
Jesus Christ.
Also, there was a 6-year-old niece that was in the home, and she was taken back to a room. She was, I'll just say, assaulted and beaten to where she was unconscious, but he thought she died, so he left.
Okay.
Well, the little girl regained consciousness the next morning, and she was naked and bloodied and ran next door and was knocking on the neighbor's house. Well, she called somebody first. She's only 6.
Yeah.
She called somebody first and had to leave a message on like a voicemail, and they played it, and it was saying, and it was so sad, but she sounded so brave and so calm at the same time. She's like, I'm so sorry to tell you that grandma died. Someone came in and murdered her and hurt me. Please come help me. And then that was like the end of the voicemail, kind of more or less. And then she ran out of the house and went next door and knocked on the neighbor's door, and a female had answered the door, and she goes, can you please help me call my mommy? Someone killed my grandma.
Oh, God.
The lady told her, wait right here.
What?
Went in the house, left her on the porch for 45 minutes while she contacted her mother to come get her. Rather than calling, you have a naked, hurt child asking for help on your porch and you just leave her there for 45 minutes. You don't say, oh my God, wrap her in a blanket, put her in the house.
Oh my God.
Call the police. Like, what the hell?
There could be, whoever did it obviously could be running around still, see that little girl, fucking jack her off the porch.
Yes.
And finish the job.
Or the shit she's got to go through being naked and bloody, standing on a porch.
In public. Like, oh my
God,
that poor baby.
So, when the police arrived, they started talking to the girl and she said, the man looks like my Uncle Clarence. And they were like, okay. So they go over, they find out where he's working at. They go and they scoop him up out of work. They take him, they start interrogating him on what's going on. He actually had an alibi. He was at a bar an hour away. And he didn't have a bad relationship with his mother-in-law or anything. And there was no DNA evidence. But they took him anyway because during trial, the little girl was being pressured into saying that it was him.
Of course. So they could just find someone and close the
case. And so in 2002, the niece stated that she was pressured. It wasn't that everybody thought it. She actually even said, like, no, like I was actually pressured when I was little to say those things about him. I didn't want people to be mad at me for saying something they didn't want me to say and all this other stuff. So anyway, so he's in prison. He gets convicted, life in prison for murder, attempted murder, and rape. He's in, I want to say 7 years, maybe. And then, hold on, crap. I'm sorry, I lost my place.
Oh, that's okay.
Damn it. Okay.
Sorry, my dog is distracting me too. He is like, we're all sitting here talking, ignoring him, so that's when he's like, oh yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah. Well, Clarence actually started talking to like a chaplain in the prison, and the chaplain asked him, questioning him, like, did you do this to your mother-in-law? And he's like, no, I did not. So the chaplain's like, the way he answered it, he goes, I absolutely believe that he didn't do it. So he started helping this guy, like, try to get ways to get him out.
That's cool.
And he kept pushing with the whole DNA thing because they had no DNA. They had no actual evidence that he did it. The 6-year-old girl said, yes, it was him, after first saying the guy looked like my uncle. Yeah. So then they started suspecting another man.
Okay.
So many names.
Fuck,
Earl Mann. His name was Earl Mann. He was somebody who had been in prison for sexual assault and rape and for violent crimes. He was actually released from prison 2 days before the murder happened.
Oh, fuck.
And the house that the little girl ran to next door was his house.
Oh, no fucking wonder.
So the girlfriend, for some reason or another, didn't want the little girl to see him in the house. And that's why she left her on the porch for 45 minutes.
So the girlfriend knew that he was raping little girls and...
Yeah. So then later on, because he was a suspect, but they couldn't prove it, right? So Clarence gets wind of, hey, we're suspecting it's this guy, but we don't have any evidence on it really right now either. Oh my God, what the fuck is this guy's name again? Earl. Or I want to keep on to say Eric. Earl.
Shitty ass name.
Yeah. So Earl actually ends up getting arrested for a separate violent crime. And while in the back of the cop car, he says, why aren't you guys arresting me for the murder of Judy Johnson?
Oh my fucking God.
They totally fucking ignored it. Took him to prison. They actually ended up taking him to the same prison Clarence was in.
He fucking wanted to fuck with the cops by saying that.
Basically.
What a fucking piece of fucking shit.
But the odds that he actually ends up in the same prison as Clarence, and Clarence knows this. So now he's plotting.
Clarence, I would have fucking murdered him.
Right? So he's plotting to try to get some kind of evidence to help him be able to get free. So one day he finally thinks, hey, this guy's a fucking smoker. His DNA is on his cigarette. So he waited for him one day when he was on the yard to put out a cigarette. When he left, he went and picked up his cigarette butt, stuck it in a Bible, and snuck it back to his cell, and then sent it to his lawyer.
Yes.
And then
fuck yeah.
It took a couple of months to get it through, but they actually ended up proving that he was, in fact, the murderer of Judy Johnson and not her son-in-law. and he got released, and then that guy had all those charges put on him for it. So now he's spending life in prison for the murder of Clarence's mother-in-law.
And of course, doing probably an extra sentence for hurting that girl.
Oh yeah, of course. It's all life now. So it is what it is.
But damn.
But yeah, but he got to go back and spend time with his kids. He actually got remarried.
That's great.
So now he's just catching up with his kid. This happened not too long ago, I think, but
Well, yeah, you said 2002. Like,
yeah.
that's not that long ago.
No, that's when the little girl was a little older and was saying, yeah, I was kind of, coerced into saying it, but they still ignored everything.
Well,
they just were like, whatever, he's already there.
I was just trying
Case
to
closed.
piece together the timeline.
Yeah, sorry, it's a little confusing.
Oh, that's okay. No, still 2002. Even if that's still early enough for everyone to remember that.
Yeah.
It's got to be a horrible situation.
Who's Henry Lee Lucas?
It sounds a little familiar.
Henry Lee Lucas is a serial killer who had his partner Otis Toole, and they were committing murders throughout the states, far distances.
Okay.
And they confessed to a whole bunch more murders.
Oh, that was that Confession Killer show.
The Confession Killer.
I'm only halfway through that series right now.
They were super messed up drifter killers.
Well, of course.
But they were kind of liars, though, too.
Oh, yeah.
Because Henry Lee Lucas wanted all the attention. He wanted attention because he was kind of like a geek. He got picked on. He was a little slow. Nobody, so he's like, ooh, I get all this attention now. Look at me.
Yeah. Just lie and they give you stuff. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely a reverse situation of being wrongly convicted versus a guy who's trying to take credit for every murder he can find out about.
I know.
So they will give him special treatment for for confessing.
He's like, I shot JFK, by the way.
I bet he would have said that for sure.
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
Dude's a weirdo.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, this story is really fucking sad. But it happened in the 60s, which it kind of makes sense why they would just blame him anyway. A black man named James Joseph Richardson had 7 children. He and his wife worked about 16 miles away from their home. They lived in Florida, and they worked at the orange groves. So they would pick oranges all day. That's how they made their money. And the kids were left with their neighbor, a babysitter, Bessie Reese. After she was babysitting them one day after he, left and he and his wife had gone to work, there were 4, I would say toddlers maybe at home because they weren't school aged. So that's why I say toddlers. I'm assuming they're toddlers.
Yeah.
And then 3 of the school aged children, after they had all come home or come to, I don't know if it was Bessie's house or I don't know if it was their house and she was just there watching them.
Mm-hmm.
But they had all come home from school to eat their lunch and then went back to school. When they got back to school, they were all sick.
Ew.
Really sick. And the school was so concerned that they sent people from the school to their house
Ooh.
to check on the other kids.
Like CPS kind of deal?
It was just somebody that worked at the school.
Oh, okay.
So they were all concerned. They wanted to make sure that the other kids were fine. Eventually, all 7 kids ended up dying of poisoning.
Holy shit.
So they had been poisoned. They died of poisoning. Bessie had confessed for years that she did it. But because James was a black man, they arrested him and convicted him of all the murders of all 7 children.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So an inmate that was, in prison with him. Shush, Sarah. An inmate had claimed Richardson confessed to all of these things, but he was coerced by someone to basically say that he did it so that he could get a lighter sentence for his crime. So he was just they were pitting inmates against each other, it sounds like trying to using other inmates to hear other confessions for inmates. so that they offered them a lighter sentence and all that shit. So mind you, this is in the 60s, like almost
she
70s.
wasn't right.
Yeah. So he was finally released at age 53.
Damn.
Yeah. So he was eventually released because, they found out he really didn't do it. And they found out that the inmate was lying about his confession. So.
Wow.
But yeah.
You can't trust the inmate, huh?
Yeah, it was years before he was released. But yeah, that's pretty sad.
Damn.
Yeah. All of his, I can't imagine feeling what he was feeling. Because not only was he arrested for murdering his children, which he didn't do it. All 7 of his children were murdered.
Yeah.
For what? For no fucking reason.
And
the neighbor admitted it. And nobody believed her.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then you go to prison. One of the harder things is you go to prison and they know what you're in there for. And a lot of people don't.
Yes.
They're not cool with that.
Oh my God, which brings me to the next one. But we'll hear another one of yours first.
Okay.
Shit.
Well, this one, I think, because it's still kind of an ongoing thing, more or less, I guess.
Okay.
But I just want to see what everybody else thinks about it.
Right.
Because I'm still kind of on the fence about everything.
Yeah.
But Brandon Dassey of Netflix is Making a Murderer.
Oh.
People feel that he was wrongly convicted at the age of 16 because he suffered from intellectual disabilities and was in special education. And he was only in the 10th grade.
Okay.
So if you guys haven't seen Making a Murderer, it's on Netflix. It's a really good show. There's 2 seasons to it. It will blow your mind. And it'll make you think about a lot of shit. But some people feel that while he was being interrogated by the police, he was coerced into making false statements and stories about what had happened.
Seems like a running theme.
Yeah. Have you seen Making a Murderer?
No.
I've
heard a lot about it, though.
What? Okay.
That people are still on the fence.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Because he
everything.
wasn't the murderer. Supposedly his uncle Stephen Avery was the murderer. Oh my God, you guys got to watch this shit. This shit's old now. But anyway, they felt that he was coerced into making a false claim, against his uncle and incriminating himself also for helping when he really didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys watch it, you're going to end up being a little confused on whether or not you feel he did it or not.
Okay. I've seen clips of it because a podcast I listen to plays clips of it to make fun of stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah,
well, so far he's already spent 13 years for his conviction of life. And he hasn't watched the show because obviously you can't watch Netflix in prison. Yeah. And he says that he is not interested in watching it at all because he's like, I had to live through that. Why would I want to watch it on TV?
Of course.
And since he's been convicted, he actually does say that he is innocent, that, he just said what the police wanted him to say, that they got in his head. Mm-hmm. There is a scene in it where they are showing his interrogation footage and what they say to him. And you sit there and you start getting mad at the cops. Like, are you fucking serious, dude? And then you start watching him and you kind of like, no, like you kind of feel it too before it's even said that he's being coerced into it. Mm-hmm. Then his mom comes into the room and he's like, they kept the camera going when the mom came in because they were trying to catch him confess to his mom too, to concrete it and seal the deal. And the mom's like, well, did you do it? And he goes, not really. And she goes, what does not really mean? And he goes, I don't know. They got in my head and I don't know. I just said what they wanted me to say.
Wait, he was a kid when this happened, right?
He was 16.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I think I do remember.
But he's kind of slow.
Yeah.
And so it kind of seems like it would be easier for them to persuade him or pressure him into saying something.
It's weird too, even the way that his mom was talking to him. As if she believed that he did it and was trying to just get him to say it.
First, I think she wanted to know. I think she really wanted to know.
Of course.
But yeah, so there was in October 2nd of this year, there was a clemency petition that was sent around for the people who do believe that he is innocent, that he was coerced, and that, it needs to be, everything needs to be overturned and he needs to be released because he's not really in complete sound mind, especially when they did what they did to him and, gave a false statement.
Yeah.
But if anybody else has seen the show, what do you, and you know about all this story, what do you guys think? Like, do you guys think that he's been, wrongfully in prison because he was coerced by the police? Because this is kind of a thing, a lot of the people who are in there are either coerced or they've got things that were planted on them, and it's
Or
not really concrete.
Yeah, or in this last case, like, it was just somebody, like another inmate was like, oh, I heard him say that he did it. You know what I mean? Like,
there's no concrete actual evidence to it. It's just all up in the
DNA
air.
has saved, and I didn't do too many more than what I did. I only did like 3 of them. But like, DNA has totally saved people.
Oh yeah,
Though,
for sure.
Fucking thank the gods for fucking DNA evidence and stuff now, like DNA testing, because without that, so many people might be fucked. Because back then it was super easy to plant something on someone else.
Oh yeah,
you could get away with it.
Yeah,
like,
and there wasn't like all these computer systems that like linked everything together. I mean, we wouldn't have gotten the Golden State Killer. We wouldn't have gotten Samuel Little.
Exactly.
There's a lot of fucking people who were killers that got caught. Like right after because during the 80s, that's when that system started happening, where you get fingerprinted and they swab your mouth.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
that's why in the 70s there were so many fucking like killers out there. The 70s were like popping for serial killers, dude. And you know what I bet it was? People like coming back from the war and then having kids and then putting their trauma on their kids, and then they grow up to be serial killers. I bet that's probably what happened.
I'm sure that's one of the reasons. Or people
coming back from Vietnam and being fucked up.
Well, I mean, look remember we've done episodes on like the government experimenting on the public without their knowledge of LSD and
that's
stuff.
Right.
I mean,
that could have been a fucking thing too.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things the government, I'm not an anti-vaxxer person, but I mean, who's to say that they're not? They have. They've done that too. They've done it to, African-American people out back at East and South and stuff, saying that they were just, they were giving them a shot for something, but it ended up being like chlamydia, syphilis, thank you. And then had a cure for it, was testing it on them, didn't tell them it was syphilis. Then when they figured out penicillin would cure all of it, they continued to let the people live like that. And not even like, hey, like, you're probably sick, let's give you a cure, like, let's clean all our mess up. No, the government just fucking let it ride. They didn't give a shit.
Well, also with the mental health, what's his name? Reagan. Just let them all.
Oh yeah.
It's like, well, we don't have money, so
and then Skid Row is like freaking bled all the way up north and south. So yeah,
everywhere.
I mean, oh my god, I don't know. Let us know what you guys think about this, because holy shit,
that sounds very similar to the West Memphis 3 case.
That's so sad. 16.
Where one of those kids, he was also a little slow. And the police would literally like feed him a little bit of information about the case. So he would turn on the other 2, and they didn't tell him that he's confessing to it as well. So all 3 of them went to prison.
Wow.
Like 18 years, all 3 of them at the same time. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that definitely is. And I don't understand. It's just to make them look good because, I solved the case, or just because they don't like the person, or what the hell causes that shit?
A lot of times, I don't know, because remember, cops are just people. Or, all these directors of whatever the fuck, like, they're still people. They want to look good. They want their promotions. They want their raises. They want their fucking shit. So, of course, they're going to do what they can do to get them.
Corruption.
Yeah, exactly.
Buggers.
So, fuck them all. Oh, my God. This is a fucking sad, sad, sad story. But it has a bittersweet ending. So it's kind of good, but kind of still sucks. I was going to be real about that. All right. So Kirk Bloodsworth had a 9-year-old daughter. Or no, it wasn't his 9-year-old daughter. Oh, wait, no. I'm thinking about this story. Okay, I'm going to do this story.
Okay.
All right. So Thomas Kennedy had an 11-year-old daughter, Cassandra Ann Kennedy, who falsely accused him of sexually abusing her. She went to the cops and told them and showed them on little stuffed animals and different dolls, and was like really descriptive about all the stuff that he did to her. She is her parents are going through a divorce.
Mm.
And he was smoking a lot of weed, drinking a lot during that time, and she just wanted him to, quote, go away. She had heard about one of her friend's stepdads who got arrested for sexual abuse. So she decides she's going to use these accounts and these stories to tell the cops that her dad abused her.
Oh, wow.
In a bathroom 3 separate times, like locked her in their bathroom and abused her.
Jesus.
She gave, like I said, detailed descriptions too. So that makes it even fucking worse. 11 years later, she tells police that she was lying. So he had been in prison for 11 years.
Fucked up.
I'm surprised he wasn't murdered in prison because we all know what fucking happens to pedophiles and child abusers.
They don't hang
in
themselves,
prison.
that's for sure.
They don't fucking Epstein it.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, he was in prison this whole time.
Man.
And then she never served any time, never did
What?
any time, never nothing. Like, she was 11. 11 years, like, she's a 22-year-old at this point when she lied, like, tells the cops she was lying.
Wow.
And nothing happens to her. His life is fucking ruined, I assume. Like, he got the sex offender label taken off. Like, he's not on the registry anymore.
I bet he had to pay for that, too.
Maybe.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't know. But I'm sure he got fucked up in prison for this. His reputation's fucking ruined. And it's really sad. I mean, it is awesome that he was released, but I'm sure he probably fucking wishes he was dead at this point. Like, because that's fucking crazy. Like, your own daughter would do that to you.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so sad.
How do you come back after 11 years?
11 years. Like, how do you come back after being... Well, at the time, smoking weed was illegal. But, I mean, all he was doing was smoking weed and drinking, and his daughter didn't like it. And she wanted him to go away. Like, the power that children actually have is crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yes, they should be protected, but at the same time, it's like, where do you draw the fucking line?
Yeah.
Like, where do you draw the line with believing them about stuff?
Yeah.
You know? It's, I don't know. I think that it was a failure also on the cops' end of not just noticing that she was a fucking child who was going through a hard time, who probably needed some counseling.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
You know, and instead they throw him in jail because she said something that
There's
I don't know. It's awful.
Like that, yeah.
It was awful.
Well, at least he's not rotting in prison still.
Yeah, I'm so happy that he's not in prison. I don't know.
I would have pressed some charges. I'd be like, no, but you can go spend at least 6 months to get just a little bit of a taste of what I had. Just a little taste.
Fuck, dude.
Just on the tip of the tongue. Just a little taste.
Just like the little cocaine drip.
Yeah, just to see how good it is.
Just imagine what else she's willing to do, though, too.
Exactly.
Oh
you
my
really
God.
go that
She
far.
technically got away with it.
Yeah.
Ruining someone else's life.
And why after 11 years, I would wonder, do you go to the cops and was like, oh, I feel bad now? Why did it take you so long?
Because she'd probably look stupid if she went and told somebody, oh, I lied, got someone my daddy sent to jail. Yeah, you look like a fucking moron. You look like a dickhead. That's what you look like.
She probably realized after years of not having her father around, like, oh, hey, maybe I have daddy issues because I fucked him over. Like,
Yeah.
maybe it's my fault I have daddy issues.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's just, that was so sad. I had to tell you guys that one because that's fucking
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's ridiculously bad.
crazy.
Oh.
Okay. Any more questions, comments, concerns?
No, right now we're good. Gary
Threats.
says hello, awesome people.
Threats.
Hey, shirts going out Monday.
Right.
Miguel can vouch. Just got them today.
Lots of shirts.
Yes.
This is after school anti-drug segment of the show.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's anti-drug, that's anti-daughters, I think. Don't have a daughter. Because
I'm a daughter. What?
those things
Vaginas
crazy.
are horrible.
They will murder you in your sleep.
They brought me brought me a lot of problems during the years. A lot of crabbage, a lot of bleeding. What do you mean?
He's like, L.
I don't have to deal with any of that, so high five myself.
Only out of Frank's face, though, huh?
My dog is being overly needy right now. He wants to go outside, but he doesn't want to go outside. He doesn't really want to be out there. He just wants me to go out there with him.
Sounds about right.
Let's go look for stuff, Mom.
He's like a toddler, I swear.
Always makes me want to see the movie Up. I love Up.
Oh, so cute.
The cone of shame.
But yeah, that case does remind you, like, a lot of the times that happens to girls in foster care. They will continuously make up stuff like that. And there's a name for them, for girls who do that over and over again. With no baggage, they just say it, so they have to go through the whole system of checking if they're okay. And it's just to give them more attention and to feel like they're a priority in a system that kind of throws them to the side.
Of course.
But it's
well,
brutal.
most of the time not most of the time, but a lot of times in foster care, that stuff does happen to those girls.
Yeah.
Like, it's so sad people abuse the foster system just so they can make money, because the government gives you money for fostering children. Oh, probably not a whole lot, but enough.
You get a good amount.
And then, they help take care of a lot of stuff, and a lot of couples or foster parents will abuse the system.
Yeah, and they'll abuse the children. Like, for the men, sometimes it's just like, oh, I can't even. I was gonna make a joke, but I can't even. It just makes me feel so sad. Like, it's hard to make jokes about. Well, I mean, it's easy to make jokes about kids, but sometimes when you really shut your mouth. I'm sure.
I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm like funny whippersnapper.
Whippersnapper.
But no, it absolutely does happen.
It sucks.
Both
Like
ways.
it does suck. But yeah, those girls. I mean, I feel for them. I'm sure that probably happened to them before they got into foster care. So now they use that as like, oh, if I say this, I'll be protected. Like, or they'll, like you said, get the attention that they want. Never able to get. So that's kind of a bummer. I have one more.
Okay.
I don't know what time it is.
I think we got plenty of time.
Time for one more.
Yeah, we got time.
All right. So Kurt Bloodsworth. This is the one I wanted to talk about earlier, but a 9-year-old girl was found strangled, sexually assaulted, and beaten with a rock. She was obviously found dead.
Jesus.
He was charged with the murder, despite witnesses not even being able to recognize him in a lineup, and the ones that did, he looked nothing like the drawing that they had, made of the suspect. He looked nothing like this dude.
Wow.
So there was no physical evidence either, because it was during a time where they, there was no physical evidence of anyone really being around.
What was that John Mulaney joke before DNA evidence? Oh, there's a pile of the killer's blood in the hall.
Let's
gross.
Or the one that's like, oh, there's a body. Oh, let's draw lines around it. So we know, that way we know where it was. Oh my god. Oh, he mentioned also too, John Mulaney, that joke where he talks about in the 1930s, you could rob a bank and still be there when the cops got there. You could still get away with it because there's no DNA evidence.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is be faster than them.
Yeah. So basically, this guy looked nothing like the drawing. They couldn't find him in a lineup, but they still charged him with this shit. And he was sentenced to death.
What?
He was the first person on death row to actually be exonerated.
Really?
Yes, because they found, due to misinformation and failure to provide certain information to the defense, certain information that there may have been a second witness, even.
Oh, wow.
Somebody else might have seen what happened. They refused to give that information to, they were just like keeping information from each other.
Dickwads.
Yeah, so the conviction was overturned, but he was sentenced again to 2 life-term sentences. But DNA evidence later exonerated him, and he was released after 9 years in prison. 9 fucking years. That's so sad. That's gotta be fucking.
That's a long time. That's a long time.
Because 9 years, like, I'm sure. I mean, obviously, I've never been in prison. I don't fucking know. But I'm sure after the first 6 months, like, you figure it out. Like,
Feel better.
the first
Yeah.
the first month, you figure it out because you're scared to get fucked with. But like 9 years of living like a caged animal for not even doing anything.
Yeah.
It's so sad. But he was released and he's doing good now.
Did they ever find out who actually did it?
I don't know.
That's the worst part about a lot of these. It's that, oh, we exonerated. Oh, but the killer's still out there. Oh well.
He's like, tune in next week, guys. Jesus.
Hey, I wonder, maybe I might be able to find it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kirk Bloodsworth, which is maybe they saw his name and was like, he did it.
Yeah. You can tell by his name he did it. Man.
All right, I'd probably be on the board with that. Of course, Bloodsworth murdered somebody. Yeah. Get out of here, chick.
Bloodsworth. Oh, my phone died. That's cute.
Oh, crap.
But yeah, so many times this happens. And then like the West Memphis 3 case was, they were released after signing this thing saying that they didn't do it, but the state isn't at fault for them being in prison for so long,
Right.
and the case is closed. That's basically what the statement said.
Can you maybe see if he wants to pull it towards you and then over?
They're all
There you go,
excited.
yes.
They're like, we know what's happening now.
Okay.
Sheesh.
Thank you. Sorry.
So they will never have to go look for the actual killer now.
Mm.
The case closed. So those 3 boys who were murdered, doesn't matter.
That's bullshit.
It's just swept under the rug so they don't look bad.
Right.
And I think quite a few of the politicians who were involved in that case, like from judges to lawyers that moved their way up in the political system, are still in the political system.
Mhm.
And they use that as a stepping stone, even though they were completely wrong. It's bullshit.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, those people are just trying to make a paycheck, get a paycheck, fucking get their raises, look good, have this on their resume. Like,
Yeah.
of course, like they don't give a shit.
I picked up the guy that murdered over 300 people.
And then, no, he didn't murder anybody. He was innocent.
Yeah.
Who cares?
We got him, guys.
But we thought he did it.
We were close.
It was super close. You don't even know how close we were, man.
We beat the shit out of him like he did do it.
So he might as well have fucking done it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, I hope he fucking did
This
it.
one.
Jeez.
A fruit
bad.
basket to say sorry for that.
I'm sorry you were in prison for years. Oops.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sure.
My bad.
My bad.
Jeez.
Jesus fuck.
Well, goals, like we said at the beginning of the show, it is the last full moon of the year, of the
is.
decade.
Woo.
And according to Facebook and supposedly the Farmer's Almanac, it's December 12th, and the moon is supposed to be high and tight by 12:12 tonight.
Oh yeah. 12. Okay, so today's 12:12.
At
And then
12:12.
At 12:12.
But that would be
and then-
13 then, wouldn't it? Or no, it would have been this morning then, no?
12:12 a.m. today. Yeah, we
It would have
probably missed
passed. Oops.
Whatever.
We're so close.
it.
I was inside the building cleaning stuff, right?
It's fine. We'll have another 12:12 sometime.
Yeah. I don't know.
Tonight. We'll have another 12:12 tonight. We'll just
Tomorrow-
pretend it didn't happen.
Tomorrow's the last Friday the 13th of the year, and there are only 2 next year.
Mm-hmm.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Actually, if we meet up for the day after Christmas, it's on Kwanzaa is the next the 26th show.
Kwanzaa killings.
You know, I know nothing about Kwanzaa.
I know zero about Kwanzaa. I thought it was made up.
It's an
No, it's not.
African.
I know
Oh,
that
okay.
part, but I don't know.
I always just think of Hanukkah when I think of Kwanzaa. Just for black people. I
They
mean.
do the same thing, yeah, of course. No, they're crazy.
Candles and food, presents, music.
Yeah, that sums up about every.
Yeah, it's like it's all the same.
Because it's all pagan
Yeah.
based.
They used to
Oh.
use candles on trees instead of lights.
Yeah, I know. That's fucking crazy, right?
Stupid idea.
I wonder
guys.
how many fucking fires there were.
Let's drink
I
some
had no
popcorn and stuff on here too.
Yeah. Let's get this really dry, oily tree that'll burn real well.
I know, and then like get our horse and carriage fire department to come
With their buckets of water.
We don't pay them right now. They won't do it.
They have to keep making trips back to the well to go get more fucking
Shit.
water.
Why did I live so far from the water?
At that point, I'm sure they would just throw more fire on
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
burn quicker. I want to go home.
Just get the dirt from outside and you're covered in it anyway.
You know, just mud. Yeah, puts out
Yeah,
fire.
just fling mud at it. That'd be pretty good.
You guys ever seen Gangs of New York?
Long
Yes.
time
Oh
ago.
my god! You remember that scene where there's a two fire departments, and they're like fighting over territory. So they're fighting each other while the fire's still happening, and then the gangs go in like rob the place while it's burning. Like, oh, here's like one piece of your jewelry from your house that burned down. I'm keeping the rest.
That's great.
Thank you. Jeez Louise. Well, it's also winding down to the end of the year too. So
Yeah.
if you guys have anything that you'd like to suggest for future episodes,
Yes, please let us know.
let us know. Message us, let us know, and we'll put it on the calendar somewhere. Maybe.
That's
It's gotta be
really-
good. Don't make it lame.
Yeah, anything gin or horror or occult or our description. We always
Yeah.
put it
there.
on our social medias.
Everything that's not sports. yeah.
Pretty much, huh?
We can cover sports, celebrities who murder people.
Actually, someone told me the other day.
O.J.
that-
Simpson,
Yeah.
allegedly.
well, I was told the other day that there was 95. There was a Raiderette that was murdered by a photographer when they were going on a photo shoot.
Nah,
So, and I
we're
guess-
gonna do that. Sorry.
I guess it was like a big thing too. Like it was like
Damn.
media. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. So maybe we could do like maybe around the Super Bowl, maybe we can do
Oh shit!
Murder in
Super Bowl's
sports.
usually
Yeah.
in what, February?
Yeah,
It's the first Sunday of February.
I think so. Yeah, right. Something like that.
Yes, it is
I
the
don't
first
know.
Sunday of February.
That's-
You don't watch football, Miguel.
I don't like football.
I love
either,
football.
but
Actually, never
I
listened
love
to that.
murders though.
So,
Murder
yeah,
ball.
Mix them together. It'll be better.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions for us, please let us know
Definitely, please.
in our inboxes, and we will get to you guys accordingly.
Damn.
Yeah. Whatever
Please
that was.
share. As many people watch the show, the
Let's
better.
Mhm.
Freaking word out there. Yeah.
More people, more conversations.
Some new cool recorded stuff next year. That would be
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
We're coming up with some new little pre-recorded segments.
Yeah. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, they're gonna go up on YouTube's, I assume first.
YouTubes and tweeters. No, I'm not gonna go.
Tweeters.
Tweeters.
Al.
Oh, Twitter. Oh, I made us a Twitter, but I'm like, I don't remember the passwords now, and I'm not. Twitter is always like, I always hear that Twitter's bad because people.
It sounds like a bunch of
just-
retarded people on Twitter.
Probably, and you'd probably get canceled for saying the word retarded too. So
We
you're already-
had it. I'm sorry I said it wrong the
You're
first
already
time.
banned from Twitter.
you're
Never mind
already
Twitter.
banned. You're already canceled. You're done.
Twitter's gonna. You guys ever on there? They have a big block over Joe. No, this one says bad words. Oh.
This one says bad words.
Well, I just fucking smoked a fat rip earlier on camera, so I don't know.
See that's never a problem.
We'll
I don't
see.
understand why it would be. It's like, oh my god, you have leaves here and fire.
Leaves and legal leaves too.
Like, well, thank goodness, because tobacco won't be for very long. They're fucking us over.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, yeah.
that's a horse for a different day.
Yeah.
Um,
But that is the end of our show for this week.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks for
watching.
joining us. Check out our Instagram and our YouTube.
Instagrams. Yeah, I know. We need more pictures.
Don't come back until you do. I mean, no, please come back, but check out the other shit too. That'd be
Come
nice.
back, please.
Thank you. Bagoosh.
we are.
Retarded.
It's tatted. It's tatted.
Wait,